everybody, how you doing? Rusty Nelson down here in the Villages, Florida, and we're definitely approaching hurricane season, that's for sure. I took a trip down to Dade Battlefield. That was kind of interesting, and a few more things. So let's get started on just one more thing. Hey everybody, how you doing? Boy, I'll tell you what, it has been a hot one down here in the Villages. Those folks that are new to the Florida area, I've been down here for 5 years, and I don't remember it being quite this hot, but consistently. I mean, it's definitely been hot days, but it just seems to be consistently. And for those folks that, are thinking about coming down to the Villages or whatever, we just kind of adjust our days, get done pickleball early in the morning. Usually I'm out there like right now at sunrise, and you just kind of get all those things done, spend a little extra time in the pool, and it's not all that bad. And then we come out again at night and go down to the squares. In fact, they've actually pushed back the time to 6 o'clock when the music starts down in the squares. With that said, first off, these tours that I've been doing, thank you so much for your comments and watching these. And I really want to thank the people that have done this, because if you haven't watched them, they literally go straight from their closing, come right to their house. They do one of these tours, and it kind of helps out. It helps them out because I tell them to bring a roll of blue tape, and I'll point out anything that I could think of. And they kind of pass along information to people that sometimes even have a home right now, some upgrades that they did to their homes. And it seems to help out a lot for everybody. Plus that, they get a nice little video of their house when they first move in, kind of something they can show the family, that type of thing. But I need to apologize because I've just gotten swamped with a lot of stuff, and this isn't a job to me. I do this because I like it and I want to help people, but I get a little backlogged, and I don't get to enjoy the Villages. So sometimes I'll miss people, I'll miss not miss tours after I've scheduled them, but just getting them in the works, so to speak. I'm literally, I've got a bunch that I'm doing right now. I'll leave it at that. Sorry about that. Also, comments, questions, please. I just don't have time to answer stuff on Facebook. I'm so sorry, but if you put your comments and questions and stuff in the comments and questions down below, in the descriptions in YouTube, people get to chime in on them themselves. And also, I see those. I see every single one, so I don't miss them. Nasty comments, they're just not going to go out there. I just take them as they're directed to me. Also, when I do these tours and that type of thing, I realize I used to do this. I used to direct for Fox. I did some shows for Fox, did some movies and stuff like that. I was out in LA, did that work. Please remember, it's just me out there with the camera. That's it. So, running 3 mics at a time, sometimes one will cut out, and I have no way of seeing that. I don't have a sound crew with me, but I do my best. So let's take a look at my visit to Dade Battlefield. This may be something that you're interested in. I had been seeing it in the Sunday, the Daily News, the paper we get here, Sunday. And I've seen it for 5 years in there and just never went. I decided to go, and it was really interesting. I've read about this place a zillion times in the Daily Sun, and I decided today is probably a great day to come down here because they actually have a reenactor that's going to walk you down, I guess, the road where the battle took place and explain everything and explain about the guns and ammunition and exactly what happened here, because to tell you the truth, I have absolutely no idea. So this ought to be really interesting. Let's take a trip in there and see what it's all about. If you're going to come here, I would definitely check the timing. And the other thing too is when you pull into the gate, it's kind of unassuming, but there's no attendant there. So it's a $3 entrance fee, so it's kind of on your honor thing. So you may want to bring $3. But anyway, let's go inside and take a look. All right, there's just a few of us here. It's nice that they have some water. And they said the talk that they give is about an hour, hour and a half. And this is the museum area. It looks like this is interactive, but.
On the cold morning of December 28, 1835, the command of Major Francis Langhorne Dade was marching from Fort Brooke to reinforce.
Right. You may want to watch that when you come in. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing right now because we're going to leave pretty soon. Then there's also a 12-minute video that's in this room right here.
Fire in the hole. The head of the column reached this point when a general fire erupted from the woods behind me and all along this flank. The rest of the column was stretched down that way, back toward the rear of the column was about where the breastwork is that we started from.
The walk ends right about here, and they explain what this is all about and how the war ended, which was kind of fascinating. And it is right in front of where you started, right at the museum. That was a good trip. I'm glad I went. The reenactors are pretty serious, extremely knowledgeable. You get them talking, you can tell they love what they're doing. It's about 30 minutes south of, so I'm talking about Azell, Sawgrass, that area. About 30 minutes south of that near Bushnell. And there's a bunch of places to eat around there, local places, that type of thing. So you kind of make a morning day of it, but check their schedule. It is a state park. And so if you have a park pass, you can get in there. But like I said, it's only $3. And it's kind of like the day I went, it was kind of on an honor system. They do have festivities all year long. There's stuff for Christmas, the holidays, reenactor type things. And like I said, these guys take it really serious. So if you're into that type of thing, could make for a fun day. Although we're in hurricane season, we're starting to get into the prime area of hurricane season. I know a lot of people here in the villages haven't really, if you're up from north or west or whatever, you haven't really experienced hurricanes and that type of weather. And there's a lot of things you kind of need to think about that are not necessarily just about the storm. So that's what I'm just going to cover here really quick. What you'll start to see is they take down the gates. So the rods that go across, they take down the gates. Now, a lot of people say it's because they're going to get blown away. That's not the real reason, as best I can figure out and what the village says. But if there's a power failure, think about it, the gates, a lot of the cards won't work and that type of thing. So they take them down so there's a free flow of traffic going through there. And also you'll start to see some people laugh at it. They go, why are they watering the golf courses in the middle of a hurricane? Well, the reason is because it's one of the ways they redistribute the water. And if you look at golf courses, they're kind of built, a lot of them in a basin, so they can hold a lot of water. So you'll see those kind of flood out. You may see the sprinklers going off in the middle of a hurricane, and they're redistributing the water. Also, the ponds, and they do this fairly fast. It's pretty incredible how they move water around. But like the pond in the back of my house, it wasn't till less than 24 hours, and all of a sudden, within about 12 hours, I could see the level of the pond go down. So they have the ability to move water in the southern areas. North is a little different, but in the southern areas, they have the ability to move the water around, and you'll see that start to adjust that. And they can also pump it out into the wetter areas, the nature areas, and this is all Everglades through here, but they can redistribute the water out that way. So that's kind of interesting. Also, as things, I won't get on and talk about anything that is not going to affect us as far as weather goes. I'll show you a little bit today because there's some stuff moving in. It's kind of like our first serious storm of the year out in the Atlantic. In case you don't know, a lot of the storms normally come off of Africa and they come across the Atlantic and kind of shoot through the tropics and up into Florida for our type of area. This year may be a little different because an El Nino may knock down a lot of the storms. But I just kind of come on and let you know how I think it's going to affect us. That doesn't replace the real meteorologist because, like I said, I was just a guide. I did that for a decade, and that's what I did. Anyway, so those are some of the things you may want to think about. Also, please, those tchotchkes and birds and things like that, flags that are sitting in, you're stuck in the ground at first. If we've got something serious coming through, those winds will literally lift those birds and flags and that type of thing right out of the ground. And your neighbor's going to be really upset if they find your bird right through their bird cage screen and in their pool swimming around. They're going to be coming over to you to talk to you about it. If you're leaving the area, in other words, if you're going back up north and you're not going to be down here, it's very wise to take some of your furniture and push it back in your lanai or just move it inside. A lot of times when I'm leaving, I will actually move my outside furniture inside or put it in the garage because a 60, 70 mile an hour wind's going to move stuff around, no doubt. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to talk just a second about what's coming up here, and then I'll kind of give you a flavor of what I talk about. A couple of things really quick you may want to think about. It's up to you to get a weather radio, and that is something like this. The Midland WR120 is pretty much a popular. It's around $50, I think, usually, and you can get it on Amazon. I'll put a QR code up here and a link down below. And that's one way to get information. Also, the Village's radio, also, if it's a really bad storm, they will switch over to their bunker someplace. I forget where it is right now, but they'll broadcast from there. They won't be up at Lake Sumter. I may be broadcasting up there live, but they'll be gone. Make sure you do listen to the local meteorologists. They will keep you up to date, especially on the Village's radio. Now, there are not, the Village's does not run any emergency, quote, emergency services. Those are run by the 3 counties that the Village's is in. So don't expect the Village's to do something for that. It's based on the county type of thing. But anyway, with that said, let's take a look really quick at what's coming right now. This is from NOAA, and this is about up to date as far as Wednesday. You can see the red area on there is a current storm that they're looking at, and that has a pretty good chance to form. And if we jump over to this one right here, the tan area in there is where the ensemble, in other words, a bunch of forecasts are all combined to where they think they're going to go. And you can also see the dates on there. And I will kind of put those out if we're going to have anything that I think is going to affect us. I think it's kind of going to turn up into the Atlantic and be a fish storm, but you just don't know because it's so far in advance. Anyway, that's it for weather right now. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will either go out during the storm or after the storm live from my car. Double click when you subscribe so you hit the all bell. That way you'll be notified, especially for the hurricane stuff, because sometimes it gets going pretty quick and it's timely. Also, if you want to do one of those tours, please contact me through Facebook. You can DM me that way, message me, or you can put it in the comments, but just make sure I can figure out who you are in the comments because I can't always tell. Anyway, that's it. Thanks a lot for joining me. Have a great week and enjoy yourselves down here in the Villages. Bye.